So Tuvas, in your little bit of challenge mind there, since they added the second wet port, second store of wet port now, you can have 4 fuel tanks.
Ah, yes. I was just thinking about that. Oh, we can do air-to-air refueling before I go.
Oh, I just did that.
Yes.
If I understand the Harrier correctly, then you will only be able to refuel 2 of those pods and not 4, but you can suck from 4.
Oh, maybe. That's actually a good
Nope,
point.
you should be able to. It's a pressurized system. It'll put it back into that pod.
Into all 4?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, well, we'll find out. All right, boys, for any of you who want to practice air-to-air refueling and are done with GBU-12 practice, we will land at Galenzik or whatever airfield you happen to be close by to, and load up on nothing but empty fuel tanks. Oh, this is gonna be fun. You ready for this, guys?
Actually gonna expectate this. I'm ready at the tanker and fuel tank now. Very heavy right now, very, very heavy. No, my Wii remote is so the battery, I have to leave now.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
For those of you that don't know, Latome is currently using a form of track IR that involves strapping a Wiimote to his face and pointing it at a lava lamp as a IR source.
Oh
What
my
the
god.
hell? I don't even know how you got that to work, dude.
Magic. That's the only way I could explain it. It's just working by magic. All right, Tuvas is taking off vertically from Galenzik Parking Way.
Okay, and it's dead. I'm leaving now.
All right, thanks for joining, Latome.
Yep, good luck with that.
Don't slide back, whatever you do.
Alright, so for you guys that are unaware, most servers will tend to post the frequencies needed to connect to things like AWACS or tankers or runways, and in our case it is located on the briefing menu. So if you press the escape button, you click on briefing, then you scroll down until you get to the blue frequencies. You'll see the blue frequencies listed here. Because we care about air-to-air refueling right now, the tankers are on frequency 243 AM. To set that, we will click on the COM1 knob, set the number, press enter, and we are now on the correct frequency for the air-to-air refueling tanker. Now we set our radio menu. Press F6 for tanker, click on ARCA because that's KC-130, and then intend to refuel.
Tuvas, you got an auto restart on this?
No. Alright, based on that information, we know the ARCO refueling tanker is at Angels 12, so I'm going to continue climbing to Angels 12 as well as following my TACAN information. If you are not aware already, you can find TACAN information from the briefing menu usually of a server if they've been kind enough, otherwise you'll have to guess, but luckily this server has one. So let me go back to briefing. You can see here under blue frequencies, you see that tankers are set to 243 for a frequency, but the TACAN for the KC-130 is TACAN 2 Yankee, 2Y. So to set your TACAN so you can track the tanker, you click on the TACAN button. You turn it on first off so that it reads ON for on, and then you type 2 and then enter. Then you make sure that that is set on the upper controller, and then on your HSI or left sensor select left, you want to make sure that this button box is selected and it will give you the heading to the tanker, but you also have to make sure that your controls for the TACAN here is set appropriately. So by default, it's usually set to X, so you have to click the radio button to change it to Y. And then you have to set it to air-to-air mode. The way you know it's set to air-to-air mode is if this line here is active. So make sure that's air-to-air, and then transmit receive is to get both heading as well as distance, but unfortunately there's currently a bug where you can't get distance. Alright, and that's how you use the TACAN. So we're going to follow the TACAN heading and get back to the tanker. And also the TACAN heading is indicated by this green line here just above the heading indicator. Alright, and we are now approaching the tanker on the left-hand side. For those of you unaware, the holding position for waiting your turn for a tanker is the left-hand side of the tanker. You want to wait there until you are ready to actually begin refueling, so if there are chicks in tow or people currently using the tanker, you want to wait on the left wing of the tanker. Once they are done, you will move into position and slot in. Looks like I'm flying along the right side of another Harrier.
What's the
Yeah, that's me.
altitude for the tanker?
The altitude is Angels 12. Alright, Tuvas is lining up left side of the tanker. And so you guys are also aware, this was mentioned before, but for the sake of the stream, as we're here now, as you approach a tanker, you want to make sure if you're light enough, you'll want to make sure your flaps are set to the cruise mode so that there is no fluctuation in flaps as you attempt to get aligned with the tanker. But if you are too heavy and your angle of attack is too great, for example, if the tanker is too slow and you are too heavy just to maintain the current altitude and formation of the tanker, instead of setting it to cruise, you'll want to set your flaps to Stovall. They'll become locked at 25 degrees, which will in turn lower your nose and raise your tail. It will make you super draggy, but at least your angle of attack will not be out of parameters for connecting to the basket. In my case, this tanker is flying extremely slowly, and I'm definitely going to be pretty heavy once these tanks fill up, so I'm going to use the landing position for the flaps. Alright, landing position is set.
Tuvas, what's your master arm setting?
Master arm is off. That is another requirement. Before you connect to a tanker, you want to make sure your master arm is off. It is recommended that you use the VSTOL master mode as well because it presents you the most amount of information on your HUD. And you also want to make sure your refueling probe is out once you have aligned with the tanker. Alright guys, Tuvas is moving into the left-hand position. So a lot of the most common tips for refueling with a tanker is to use points of reference to align yourself with the baskets. Unfortunately, those points of reference change depending on what side of the tanker you're on. So what I generally like to do is I like to make sure the basket simply passes through the ready light. So this guy here, basically the hole that you want to plug into will pass through the ready light, and from there you are generally lined up with a basket. Of course, I'm a little bit different than most people. I like to stare at the basket as it connects to the probe, and apparently that's actually something that most people recommend to not do, is to not look at the basket. In my case, I like to look at the basket because I can guide the probe into the basket if it's any way off. So here's the demonstration.
What's the speed of the tanker?
The tanker indicated airspeed currently is 186, but that will change depending on what direction we're facing, so the ground speed is roughly 221. Alright, one of the biggest tips for lining up with a tanker is you want to match its airspeed and then make sure you are perfectly trimmed for that airspeed so that no matter if you're touching the stick, you can maintain a level formation flying with the aircraft without touching the stick. Easiest way to do that is to match the tanker speed and simply engage the AFC switch, which is this guy here. That will give you a perfect trim setting for your current airspeed. So that is the easiest way to trim to the airspeed of the tanker. Once that is set, you'll never have to touch the trim again until you fill up on more fuel and start weighing yourself down, because your center of mass will start shifting, which then changes the kind of center of lift, or I can't really say center of lift, but it starts changing the angle your aircraft is flying at as you get heavier. So after that, you will have to constantly engage and then disengage the AFC to retrim yourself for the new weight. All right, time to refuel.
Also, if you're training this, make sure that you bring along lots of Fox 2s.
Yeah, because you will get eternally frustrated at this if this is your first time.
Wait, you use the AFC when refueling?
What's that?
Do you actually use the AFC when refueling?
Only to trim, then I disengage it.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to do it flanker style.
So a best tip to aid air-to-air refueling I found in reading stuff is once you get your pitch, you're only gonna use your pitch for your up and down direction, and you're gonna use your rudder for your directional direction. Don't use your roll because that'll just throw you way off.
And we are now refueling. Still refueling.
Visual.
Holy shit, who is this guy? This guy fucking scared the hell out of me.
Which guy?
Whoever is just hanging to the left of the KC-130.
The one refueling is Tuvas.
No one that's not refueling.
That's me.
Holy shit, I didn't even see you, dude. I was right below you. Been in the whole... Have you been there the whole time?
Maybe.
Guys, just a little note. Please do not use the screenshot function in the game. It desyncs you from the server, and it takes a couple seconds.
Oh, and I think the
Piggy's
tanker's
out
dry.
of fuel.
Piggy's out of fuel. Breakaway.
May we shoot it now?
No, it will eventually land, and it's immortal anyways. So I guess,
May I
yeah,
try
shoot
to
at it. Yeah, go ahead and shoot at it.
How much did you get in you?
I have 14400, so almost full.
Yep. Check your tank, the tanks switches.
Which one is it again? I want
On the
TO2?
tank switch, you inboard and outboard, last two on the functions.
Ah, yeah, 2000 and 1300. Yep. Pretty cool. Alright, boys. Sorry you could not practice refueling. We'll have to wait for it to go and land,
Oh,
and then
look
a
out!
new one will respawn.
You just turned right into me.
Huh.
I was coming up on your what are it called, on your 8 o'clock, and you turned right into me.
Oh, you didn't even tell me you were forming up.
I wasn't there yet.
Ah. Alright, boys, I am going to go ahead and land at a nearby airfield because I need to get going. I hope you all had fun. I will leave the server running. Unfortunately, I won't be able to stream the rest of anyone else's sessions, but feel free to continue to use the server to continue practicing in the Harrier. Otherwise, I can restart it and bring it back to the original Sluggers conflict, and you guys can just have a good old time just playing Sluggers conflict.
Please, conflict, sir, please.
Alright, cool. Sounds good. Alright, let me land really quick for the stream so they can enjoy something. Is that Nova Ross? I feel like it's... No, that's Galenza. Okay. I have no idea how heavy I am.
You might want to adjust, and you're probably way over max takeoff.
Ah! What the hell is happening? I jettison my tanks and I start going full barrel left. What the hell? No! What the...
Plane that wants to go back inverted.
But
Its natural state.
this makes no sense. What is it doing? This shouldn't be happening!
Okay.
What is happening?
Tuvas, can you check whether
Guys!
only just one tank separated?
All of them separated. All of them. I'm dead.